Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we have every single house that Donald Trump has lived in here on Google Earth. So we're gonna get right on into it. Um, so the first house that Donald Trump lived in his life was this right here. It was 8515 Warham Place. We're gonna go into Street View real quick so we can see what the house looked like. This is where he lived from 1946 until 1950. This house right here. He lived here with his father, with his family, and he lived here for 4 years. And yeah, before I forget, if the marker right here is blue, that means he lived there for a year or plus, a year to 10 years. If the marker is red, um, then it means that he hasn't lived there at all. It's just a house that he bought, or he lived there for a very short amount of time. If it's green, he's lived there for 10 plus years. So I thought that would be fun to kind of categorize them like that. But yeah, this is his first house right here, and right across, pretty much behind the his first house, Fred Trump bought this house or mansion that is in 1950. This right here. He bought this place. It was built in the 1940s by Fred Trump's real estate, developers or whatever. I don't know too much about that, but this is the house right here, and it's pretty much right behind the original house where they lived. So that was 1950. He lived there for, well, let's see. He lived there for around 9 years until in 1959 he lived at the, let's see, the New York Military Academy. He lived there for some time during his teenage years. Let me see if we can get into some street views over here. He lived here during the early 1960s. I don't know if it's still active, but yeah, he lived here in some in the campus. So, all right, he lived there for some time. Then we're gonna go to another place. Let's see if we can see it on my map over here. Then he went to Fordham University, which is right here. He was here from 1964 to 1966. He lived on this campus right here. Um, I don't know where exactly, but he was in this on this university. He was in this university for 2 years, from 1964 to 1966. Then he transferred from Fordham all the way to University of Pennsylvania, which is right here. Let's go into the street view. He lived here for 2 years on this campus right here. And let's see if we can get across. And see kind of inside. Yeah, I know we can't, but this is the house, the school right here where he graduated in 1968 with a bachelor, I believe, in economics. So after that, as the 1970s dwelled on, he went to the Phoenix penthouse right here. He lived here for some time in a penthouse right here at the top of this apartment complex. He lived here from around 1970 to 1974. At least that's what I read online. If you have any other thoughts, leave them down in the comments down below. If you know any other houses that he lived in, let me know in the comments down below. There's always something that I miss. So, he lived at the Phoenix penthouse for some time right here, and then he lived at 21 Vista Drive. Which is right here. Well, he bought this place and he never used it. So he never really lived here. I can't even go into Street View, but he lived in a mansion. Well, he didn't live, but he bought a mansion right here on this lake in Connecticut. He also bought another mansion right here in Connecticut. Let's see if we can get Street View over here. Yes, we can. So he bought some mansions in here around the 1970s, 1980s. We can't really see into it, but yeah, there it is. It's a mansion, and then, so he never really lived here, but he rented it out to a lot of different people. But after living at the Phoenix penthouse for some time, he lived in the Olympic Tower. Let's go to the Olympic Tower. Where's the Olympic Tower? Where's the Olympic Tower? Right here. He lived there for some time as well. Let me see where it is. It's right here, right? Yeah, it's right over here. Okay, so let's go to Street View. This is the Olympic building where he lived during the mid-1970s or the late 1970s when he met Ivana Trump. So, yep, this is the apartment complex right here. He lived in the apartment right there. And then, let's move on to 805th Avenue. That's another place where he lived with Ivana during the 1970s and the early 1980s. It was before the Trump Tower that they lived here. They lived in various apartments around the New York City area, but this is one of them right here. And then he lived, of course, let's just go to the main thing, the Trump Tower penthouse. Let's see if we can find it somewhere around here. There it is, right there, the Trump Tower penthouse. He lived here for almost 40 years. He lived here from 1983 when it was first built, until 2019 when he moved permanently to Mar-a-Lago. Of course, excluding the White House. Yeah, I'm on the wrong side. There we go. So he lived on the penthouse right here at the top of the Trump Tower. So yeah. Pretty crazy. So then we're going to go to another couple of houses that he owned during his stay at the Trump Tower. I think we're done with everything. No, he owned an apartment right here, right next to Central Park. I don't think he ever lived here, but he owned some apartments in here. And there's a lot of apartments and houses probably that he's owned that we just don't know about. So maybe this is not all of them, but so let's go to his New Jersey residence right here. This is where he's never really lived here, but this is a golf club that he's been in. He's been spotted at many times, and he bought this estate sometime in the 2000s. So, yeah. Now we're gonna go to another residence in Seven Springs. Let's go there right now. Seven Springs is right here. He owned this mansion also. This is also a golf club. Yeah. There's some houses over here, but there's a mansion somewhere in there that he lived in. All right, so then we're gonna go to another place. So pretty much done with all the apartments that he's lived in over here. Of course, the White House. I don't think you guys have to see that. You know, y'all know what the White House is, but he owned a Virginia residence. He's never really lived here, but he owned a mansion in Virginia. I think he still owns it, but I don't know. It's right here in the countryside of Virginia. I believe I can't really see it, but it's there. Let's just go closer right here. There it is, and it's, yeah, as you can see, it's a mansion. So let's go to another mansion that he's owned, which is his Beverly Hills mansion right on the other side of the country. We have this mansion right over here. He bought this in 2007, and he sold it in 2019. Never really used it, but he rented it out to a lot of people. Then he also bought this house, the neighboring house. I think it was around 2009 when he bought this house. And he sold that as well sometime around 2019. So those are the two Beverly Hills mansions or houses that he's owned. So I think we are all done. That's no, we have one more, of course. We have Mar-a-Lago. I always forget about Mar-a-Lago, but he has lived here. I think he bought this around 1993, and he's lived here sporadically since then. But since 2019, he's made this his official residence. So, uh, and he lived here from 2021 till 2025, um, between his presidencies. So it's a beautiful place, you know. It's a beautiful place, right on Palm Beach, Florida, and yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right. Well, those are all the houses or the residences that Donald Trump is known to have owned or lived in. Um, if you got any other houses that he's owned, leave them in the comments down below, please. I'm very interested in them. So, yeah, thank y'all for watching. I hope this was somewhat, educational or whatnot. But yeah, he's owned a lot of real estate right here in this area. Of course, he's from this area, but yeah. So thank y'all for watching. I'll see you guys on another video soon.